Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pipe Report. So, we had a lot of news today, and I think the most serious piece of news is Trump going to make recommendation on what should be done with Syria and the alleged Syria chemical attacks that they say Assad used, which it just makes no sense why Assad would use chemical weapons. And the reason I say that is because Trump said that the U.S. is going to pull out all troops of Syria. Then right away, Assad decides to use chemical weapons, which would basically negate that effort, which is going to make every country pretty much in the UN go against Assad. It's going to make the U.S. do some military action against Assad. It's going to make the U.S. be more involved in Assad's affairs. Not only the U.S., but all of the U.S.'s allies. Think about it. It's suicidal. It makes no sense whatsoever, and I contend that this is a false flag. Just like in 2013 we saw a chemical weapons attack, which was then admitted to by members of the Turkish government that they were responsible for it. False flags exist. I will post a link to one of my videos, 27 admitted false flags, in the description. And I recommend checking it out because it goes over a lot of malicious acts that many world governments have done. And they did it all in the name of globalization. They did it all in the name of globalism. So I don't buy this for a second. And I really hope Trump does not recommend any military action against Syria. But I don't know. I think he's going to. I really do think he's going to, because I think Trump wants to say like he's putting his foot down. He's not going to do like what Obama did, basically let Syria get away with murder, even though there's no evidence whatsoever that this was indeed the case. There is no evidence that Assad used chemical weapons. I think we should treat this scenario like we would in the court of law in the United States. Innocent till proven guilty. So until it is proven that Assad did indeed use the chemical weapons, we should assume it is a false flag. We should assume it was some other group. We have funded terrorist sects to overthrow Assad. We have funded ISIS, and ISIS used those weapons against us and our allies. We are currently helping Al-Qaeda against Yemen. This is insane. Both Tulsi Gabbard and Rand Paul put forth in their respective chambers legislation to stop funding terrorist rebels. Why do we even need to do that? I think that should be common sense, that you should never fund rebels. You should never fund terrorist groups. This whole notion of our foreign policy that the enemy of my enemy is my friend is just nonsensical. It's not true, because for the most of the time, the enemy of your enemy is also your enemy. I 100% believe that Assad did not do this. 100% believe. And he even said it during an interview during the last chemical weapons attack that there's no reason for him to do so. What's more, people had been moving back into Syria. He has been protecting the Christians in Syria. His approval rating in Syria is quite high, actually. The Syrian people actually like him because he is fighting against the terrorists. But we want to fight against him and the terrorists at the same time. Trump needs to go back and do what he promised to do during the election. There's no point fighting Assad and fighting ISIS at the same time. There's no point fighting Assad and fighting terrorist rebels at the same time. Pick one and fight against them. I'll post a link to this article in the description. I'm not going to read it all. I just kind of want to vent a little bit that this should be viewed as a false flag because there is absolutely no evidence. And until evidence is actually given, Syria is innocent. Assad is innocent because there's no justification why Assad would do this. It makes no sense, and Assad is not that crazy. He is not that suicidal. And what scares me the most is that John Bolton is now the National Security Advisor, and he is a hardcore war hawk. And I can see him pushing Donald Trump to use military action against Syria. I really can. I hope it doesn't happen, but I think we are going to see a response. I think we're going to see more war with Syria, maybe more troops going over there, more money spent over there, and just overall stuff that negatively affects the U.S. and its people. It's a sad day for freedom. And I'm done.